This is Southern Cross News with Rachel Williams.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. Students from the University of Tasmania are calling for an apology after an anti-same-sex marriage forum was held at its southern campus. A group of protesters fronted the event last night in frustration as the Yes campaign took its message to the streets of Hobart.
It's time we did this. It's time for justice.
A message for Salamanca.
It's time for marriage equality.
The Yes campaign encouraging people to help change law for marriage equality to an anthem made famous by Gough Whitlam in 1972.
That's what we're trying to do here, is remind people of that upbeat feel, that feel of positiveness and the feel that we can actually be the people who shape the future of this country.
It's off the back of an anti-same-sex marriage forum held at the University of Tasmania last night.
We still believe very much in husband and wife teams and what have you, and we want to make sure that our children know what a father is and what a mother is.
The flow-on effects, that's the main concern.
And I believe there's enough laws already in place to look after those to register their relationships.
Almost 200 attending the Coalition for Marriage Forum as prominent guest speakers voice concerns.
There is a powerful movement afoot to completely rewrite the meaning of sexuality, of gender.
Redefining marriage is a rainbow Trojan horse that will have serious implications for you, for your freedoms, and the freedoms that so many of us have fought for over such a long period of time.
But it sparked outrage from some students confronting the event, despite an organised protest cancelled late yesterday due to permit issues.
Pretty infuriating, yeah, and it's very disappointing as well for those of us who still want to believe in the university and the position the university can have in our society.
In an email to students, the Vice-Chancellor attempted to reassure them of the university's commitment to inclusion.
I'd love to see an apology from the university. I'd like to see a statement from the university encouraging people who haven't voted yet in the same-sex marriage survey to vote yes.
The university has taken a neutral position in the marriage debate, but even that's caused angst among students just weeks after homophobic posters were plastered across the Sandy Bay campus.
Who are feeling the pressure at the moment and who are really being targeted with some pretty awful comments about their lives and their relationships.
Now under 3 weeks until the postal survey closes. Jacqueline Robson, Southern Cross News.
The state opposition has revealed its candidate to run in the Pembroke by-election next month. The Why Not Youth Network boss, Jo Seeker, will contest the upper house seat for Labor, with health her campaign focus.
It's less than a month before the Pembroke electorate heads to the polls. A quick campaign for new Labor candidate Jo Seeker.
I think it's a natural fit, the sort of work that I've done in terms of advocacy and representing vulnerable people and getting out there and talking to people. I think it was just a natural progression in my career.
Now on leave as head of the Why Not Youth Network, Ms Seeker says health will be the major focus for the campaign.
Other issues as well are things like housing, affordable housing. I think people are really concerned around things, education, employment.
One issue yet to be outlined is poker reform. The Why Not organisation is part of a community push to rid gaming machines of pubs and clubs.
So now I'm here and I'm in Pembroke and I need to listen to my community here and find out what more people think.
Labor still yet to reveal its policy on gaming or when that position will be known.
Don't rush us on this. We need to take the time that this decision deserves to consult with people, understand what the issues are and to make sure we get this right. This is too important to rush.
The state government criticising the opposition for its choice as Ms Seeker steps down as a board member for the embattled TASTAFE. An investigation into the institution is being withheld until its final report.
Labor have been highly critical of the handling of that, and yet they have endorsed a candidate that has been on the TASTAFE board.
Liberal candidate James Walker is pushing a Taswater takeover. It's in contrast to independent candidate Doug Chipman, while Tony Mulder is also considering a tilt at the seat. Jacqueline Robson, Southern Cross News.
The plight of the Tasmanian wombat took centre stage in Hobart today. Protesters calling for an end to wombat culling as the native animal suffers from a severe outbreak of mange.
It's an infectious condition. If we don't act immediately, they're going to be wiped out. They'll head to the endangered list. It's only a matter of time.
This government is still handing out multiple cull permits to kill wombats in Tasmania. So there are 22 active permits at the moment with up to 50 animals per permit.
The state government is supporting research to help find a cure for the disease, also maintaining there are strict regulations around culling. Police are investigating a suspicious blaze in Glenorchy. Fire crews were called to the property on Norman Circle in the early hours of this morning. It's believed an intruder broke into the home that was vacant at the time.
Due that a rock's been thrown through one of the windows, we believe that someone has then entered the property and then set it alight.
A neighbouring house also suffered smoke damage. Police calling for those with information to contact Crime Stoppers. Police are searching for a man in his 20s who stole a car from Newnham overnight. The white Nissan Pulsar was found alight in Waverley around noon today. Police say they received earlier calls about the vehicle acting suspiciously at Punchbowl.
It appears at this stage, even though the investigations are ongoing, it appears as though the fire has been deliberately lit.
A witness has described the male driver who fled the scene as being in his 20s, wearing black jeans, a grey top and having a bandage around his arm. Anyone with information is also asked to contact Crime Stoppers. Police officers will soon be taken out of Launceston's Supreme Court and put back on the beat. The state government today announcing it's advertising for 6 new correctional officers to take over the court security and prisoner transport duties.
This is in addition to the 30 new correctional officers that we announced earlier this year. And as we speak, we have 18 recruits undergoing training.
The Police Association welcoming the announcement after campaigning for the change for 25 years.
Now all we've got to do is make sure the campaign rolls on to the Western District, up to the Burnie and Devonport courts. We need that done, and we'll keep on that campaign.
It's hoped the Launceston officers will be back on the beat by mid-next year. Having police in Tasmanian courts has been a long-standing tradition, but they were removed from Hobart in the 90s. Tasmanians of all ages and wearing all sorts of outfits have taken the plunge into a freezing pool, raising money to help find a cure for motor neuron disease. For many, the motivation to take part was close to their hearts, with one 9-year-old sliding into the ice bath for his pop.
A big push for an aggressive disease. One by one, well-known Tasmanians, children, and business owners went plunging into a massive ice bath.
How are you feeling, Ron?
I could do that again. Not.
Colder than when I thought. Oh yes, I'll give him a big wet hug.
They're very cold.
Some made a big splash, while others were a little more laid back. Pluckaduck thought he had it conquered, but wrestler Diablo wasn't letting him get away that easily. But it was 9-year-old Kobe Arrowsmith and his cousin Oscar Bishop that reminded the hundreds of onlookers what today was all about. Kobe raised $2,000 and went down the slide for his pop, who was diagnosed with MND in 2015.
What was that like?
Cold.
Was it fun though?
Yes.
AFL great and MND battler Neil Danaher also in town for the big freeze.
They're very good, aren't they? And well done. Well done, boys.
The challenge aims to simulate the loss of muscle control experienced by those with MND. 2 Australians are diagnosed each day.
It has affected a lot of locals, so Kath Baker and Angie Cunningham were sort of the reason behind what we're doing. 2 young Launceston ladies who, sadly Angie passed away last year from this dreaded disease, and Kath's here with us this weekend, which is fantastic.
Organisers hope to raise $110,000 through the big freeze and tonight's sold-out MND Gala Ball.
It's a hideous disease, you know, and there's no treatment, no cure, and that's what the money is going towards.
Monika Dadson at Southern Cross News.
4 promising young Tasmanian students have won a combined $10,000 in the 3rd annual Community Housing Limited Scholarship Program. Launceston's Billy Orst, Madison Pennicott, Baden Riley and James Gelston were recognised for their sporting, educational and art achievements. Their scholarships presented by renowned Tasmanian sportsmen.
They've done extraordinarily well to get where they are already, but now they need to take this and take the next step as well, continue it on, and they can be and do whatever they want in life.
It means a lot. It's like someone else other than my family or friends actually like my artwork and want to support, so that's good.
The students can use the scholarship money to help improve their skills in their chosen fields. The push to stop the controversial Adani Carmichael coal mine in central Queensland has now reached Tasmania. Hundreds today turning out for a national day of action against the proposed development. Protesters vowing to take the fight north if the project gets the green light.
Said I'd take a bus before, I'll now say a cavalcade of cars, of vehicles from here, joining people from elsewhere all over Australia to go and stand for the natural laws of this planet up there in the Galilee Basin.
More than 45 protests were held across the country.
Well, it's already been a dream year for North Launceston's Brad Cox-Goodyear, with his side claiming a premiership and the star midfielder earning himself the Baldock medal with an 8-goal performance on the big day. But things got even better for the Bombers vice-captain last night, taking out the Alistair Lynch medal for the league's best and fairest. After piling on the votes all season, the medal was his to lose with 5 rounds of counting to go. Cox-Goodyear finishing up with 27 votes in the end, 4 votes clear of Clarence's Sam Siggins.
Everyone kept telling me at the table that I was winning and I was going to win, but I didn't want to believe it. But yeah, when it finally was announced, it's a pretty surreal moment.
And with a premiership and Baldock medal already to his name this year, the honour left the gun midfielder lost for words.
Yeah, I haven't thought about what's actually happened at the moment. I can't really talk about it at the moment.
Oh, I think look at his grand final, kicked 8 goals, be an unbelievably popular winner, great player, epitomises what we're all about in the TSL.
But it could be set to get even better in 2017, with Cox-Goodyear the red-hot favourite to take out the North Launceston best and fairest next weekend.
To be successful in a successful team, what you want, so to do this while we win a premiership it makes it that much sweeter.
Plays a little bit like Dusty Martin, I reckon. He's our Dusty Martin of the TSL, and well done to him.
The TSL switching things up for last night's event at the Launceston Country Club, with the medal traditionally presented on grand final day. But Ald says the new format is definitely the way of the future for the league.
It's the first time we've brought the Alistair Lynch medal and the community awards together. 300 people come together to reflect and recall highlights and celebrate the best of what Tassie's got to offer in footy. It's great.
In the night's other awards, the Umpire of the Year honour went to Matt Clark. Glenorchy's Tomasa Corrie claimed the TSL Women's Best and Fairest. Jamie Haywood from the Ulverston Football Club was named the 2017 Coach of the Year, while Launceston up-and-comer Jimmy Aganis took home the AFL Multicultural Award. As we heard earlier, Tasmanian boxing legend Daniel Gill was back home today to throw his support behind the Community Housing Scholarships program. And the former unified world middleweight champion says his future in the sport is still up in the air.
At this stage, I'm not committing to anything. I'm not hanging up the gloves at this stage. I'm not saying I'm going to definitely jump back in the ring. So, we'll see how things go. I'm enjoying my time.
It's been almost a year since Gill's knockout loss to Ronald Quinlan at the Silverdome, and the Launceston product says he's since developed a passion for coaching young up-and-coming boxers. And finally in sport, Tasmanian Amanda Beams has taken out Australia's first Still Timber Sports Women's Championships in Melbourne overnight. Beams dominated competition throughout the day across all disciplines, firstly securing 3rd spot in the stock saw event before beating out Queensland's Renee Retschlag in the underhand chop in a record time of 58.98 seconds to claim the overall championship. Some seriously impressive skills on display there, Rach. How do you think you would go against those girls?
Yeah, I don't like my chances at all. Thank you for that, Tom. She's certainly impressive.
Good evening. We had a cloudy start to the day with patches of fog in the east and north clearing to sunny skies over most of the state. Hobart reached a top of 16. It was 19 in Launceston and 14 in Burnie and Devonport. Bushy Park reached 19 degrees today. It was 18 at Strawn and Friendly Beaches, 16 degrees on King Island, 15 at Maria Island and St Helens, 14 at Low Head, and after the state's low of -3 overnight, it warmed up to 13 degrees at Lyowini. There was a little bit of rain this morning with 9 millimetres recorded at Huonville and 8 millimetres at Cape Bruni. From the satellite here we can see low-level cloud surrounding a mainly cloud-free Tasmania and some distinct thunderstorms through central Australia. On the close-up, low-level cloud over parts of the coast and Bass Strait. Tomorrow a cold front moves east over coastal South Australia towards Tasmania with a broad area of low pressure bringing northwesterly winds over the state. Taking a look to the coastal waters now, north to northwesterly winds 20 to 30 knots, lighter about the north and northeast. Swells to 2.5 metres in the south. There's a strong wind warning between Wineglass Bay and Stanley, as well as for Storm Frederick Henry and Norfolk Bays, and a small craft wind alert for the Central Plateau Lakes. Light rain at times for Hobart tomorrow, looking at a top of 23. The same for Richmond, Ooze 22. Light rain in the north, Launceston 19, Devonport 17, a top of 16 for Deloraine. Burnie, light rain 16 the top, rain and wind for Strawn 21, Curry 17. And more rain in the east, St Helens 20, Swansea 21, and a possible storm for Whitemark. Moderate to high UV over the state tomorrow. Looking ahead to next week, Monday, we can expect statewide showers clearing late in the day. A fine day on Tuesday for most of the state, apart from showers in the west and far south, and light rain increasing statewide on Wednesday. It's looking like a rainy day all round tomorrow, with showers expected in Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne and Sydney. There's a possibility of storms for Darwin and Alice Springs, but if you want to escape the wet, Brisbane is the place to be, partly cloudy with a top of 26. And right now it's sunny in Hobart, 14 degrees, Launceston 15, partly cloudy, Devonport 13 and sunny. That's all for the weather. Thanks, Rach.
Lovely. Thank you for that, Britt. Well, that's all your news for now. Good night.